What's up guys, Deadbird here, and today I'm going to teach you how to have a pop-up whenever you turn in a quest, because obviously when you turn in a quest, you want something to appear to let the player know that you're turning in a quest, and to have some rewards display, and you click a button and then you get those rewards. So we're going to see how we can do that today. So here we have the quest completed UI, and this will let us know that we completed the quest. This will pop up at the end of the dialogue, and we'll have a bunch of rewards here. For now we'll just do item rewards, but you can do whatever you want. So let's see how we can fill this up with a bunch of icons, or we're basically just like setting it up first, the UI. As long as your UI looks like this, something like this, and then you're fine. So all we have is a background, then we have a title, the text of the, so we'll call this quest name. So a place where you can put the name of the quest. You'll have a button where you can claim your rewards. So this button has no functionality yet, but we'll do it later. So nothing here has functionality, and we're just setting up the UI. And so you're going to create a new empty object, and we'll call this reward holder. This is going to hold all your rewards, and then we'll give it a grid layout group. And then we're going to create a image and call this item image. And then we'll scale this down just a bit. And so theoretically you'll be able to have as many rewards as you want. But in this case, I'm going to probably have like 10 or so, but you know, whatever your game is, make as many as you want. But you'll need item images in order to hold it, and we don't want to like create new ones, so you have to create as many as you need before then. So we'll load it as many as we possibly can. So I'm gonna hit Control D to create a bunch of them, and you'll see that they kind of go off screen. And so we're gonna make a flexible or a constraint fixed column amount, and we're going to make probably like 5 or so. 5 for now, then we'll change the spacing a bit. We'll change the where this is. So let's get it there. And then we will make the spacing a little bit closer. Actually, can we fit it? It's a little too close. We can change the cell size just by a little bit to compensate. Maybe 90 and 90. And then we can increase the spacing. And then we can move this. Decrease the spacing a bit. And then we need to decrease the spacing of the Y. And then we'll add some more. And then so this will be the amount of items that we can have here. So you can imagine like it will look something like this. So we have an item, you'll be able to claim it, and it'll go in inventory. So now that we have that, now they have the UI set up, we can undo that. And then we can, well, we need to undo everything first. And now we just have to implement this. So let's see how we do that. First of all, we need to have it appear. Alright, so let's get started on the script. I updated my Unity here, so it looks a bit different, but everything is pretty much the same. So we need to go to our scripts, and we need to go over to our quest script. So we need to go to our quest base, and we need to add the rewards to our quest base, because all of our quests are going to have rewards. Alright, so we have our quest base here, and we're going to create a new class called rewards. Class rewards. And this will basically hold all of the kinds of rewards we're going to implement. Now, we're only going to do items for now, but later we'll implement we'll add the experience, gold, and maybe a few other things, but we'll probably just leave it at that. We'll just lay the groundworks for later on. We'll do public item and we'll make an array because we most likely want multiple items you can get. We'll call this item rewards, and we'll also just put like integer, some experience reward, and let's do another integer and call this gold reward. And we won't be using these, but we'll use the item rewards for sure. Now, if we go to the inspector, we won't be able to actually see these rewards because we actually need to do a system.serializable, and then we need to make a public rewards. Just call this rewards. And now, with this, we'll be able to go back to our Unity and go over to our quests once it compiles. Go to our quests, we'll find our one quest here. And now we will see that we have our rewards right here. So we have our rewards here, and you see that we can edit how many items we have. Let's say we want 2, and we can choose by pressing the little circle, choose whatever item we want here. And now that we can choose the rewards we get, now how do we actually get these rewards? We have it set up. Now let's go over to where we actually complete the quest and see how we can actually obtain these rewards. Alright, so what we need to do is create a reward manager. And so basically all this will do is set up the UI. So when we make the pop-up appear for the quest completion, we can just go into our quest scripts and just create a new script, and we'll call this reward manager. And let's open this up, and we're going to get rid of everything, and we're just going to go and look at our rewards. So let's go and open this up, and so we have a quest name that we need to have. So let's make a public text, and you'll see that we need to use the Unity Engine.ui. So you just hit Alt Enter, go down and use the Unity Engine UI in order to access the text. And then we'll just call this quest name. And so then we have a bunch of images that will dictate our rewards, and then we have a claim button. So let's first access the images. So we need to do an image, and then we have to do an array because we have multiple images, and then we'll just call this quest reward images. I'll just say icons because that's what it is. Alright, and so with that, let's go and create a new method, and this method will be called, we'll make this public, void set reward UI, and that's all this is going to do, set the UI. And in order to set the UI, we need access to the quest that is being sent through. So let's pass through a quest space. So any type of quest, whether it be a kill quest, a collection quest, is going to utilize the quest space. So we'll be able to pass all those through this parameter. And we'll just call this quest. And we'll say quest name is equal to quest.name, or quest name. And then we'll say we need quest name.text, that is. And now the request reward icons will be a little bit trickier, and so let's visit that. So in order to set the icons, we need to go through the quest rewards. So let's say for int I equals 0, I is less than quest dot rewards, and we're going to access the amount of item rewards there are, and we're going to get the length of that. So let's say I++, so we're going to go through however many item rewards there are. And then after we get how many item rewards for each item reward inside of item reward, we're going to set the icon to the quest reward icons. So let's see how we can do that. So just say quest reward icons I dot, and we want the sprite for this is going to be equal to quest dot rewards dot item rewards dot I dot my icon. And so that will set all the icons. And so the thing is that when we open up the quest completion UI, the rewards holder, the images, they're not active. So the reason why they're not active is because when we activate them, we get this white block. And we don't want this white block here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to activate them when we want to set their icon. So that all the other ones aren't just white blocks either. And we're going to have to turn that off too when we reclaim the rewards, but we'll do that a little bit later. So let's activate the actual, or set the game object active. And the way we can do that is simply by doing quest rewards icons I, and we're going to get the game object, and we're going to set active true before we set the icon for it. And now that we have this set up, we can now utilize this in a different script. But there's one last thing we need to do, is we need to actually get access to the game object itself, so the quest completion UI itself. And we're going to want to turn that on before we even do anything. So we'll say game object, and we'll just call this quest reward UI. And so before we set any of the text or the rewards, we need to turn on the game object itself. So we can simply just do that quest rewards icon UI, and then we set active to true. And so we can set the rewards UI from any script that we want, and when we do, we'll set it to active, we'll set the text, and then we'll set the rewards as long as we have a quest here. And just to show you what this looks like, well, first we need to set the text, the reward icons, and all of that good stuff. So let's go to our managers, and so we have all our managers here, and we're going to add the reward manager, and our reward manager is going to need the quest name, and so we have the title quest name here, and then we need the quest reward UI, so we just drag that in there. And this is going to be the quest reward UI is going to be the entire game object itself. So just double check that it's the entire thing. Select our managers, and then the reward icons, there are going to be all these icons here. And so you have as many icons as you want, but make sure that they're enough. While you can do make it modular so that you can have as many rewards as you want. For most games, you're probably not going to have an infinite amount of rewards, so we'll just have a very set amount of rewards here. But if you want to make it more scalable, you can. For this example, we're not going to do that. So you have a very finite amount of rewards you can obtain. So let's go back to our managers, and so we need to set all the icons here. So we can just lock this, and then we're going to click and select all of these. I'm going to drag it into the quest reward icons, and it's going to fill it all up with our icons here. Alright, so now that we've done that, I'll show you a little example of how this is going to work. So I'm just going to disable this. I'm going to go over to my managers, and for this part you don't have to follow along. I'm just going to show you a quick demo. So I'll make a public quest base just test quest, And on start, I am going to call the set reward UI and throw in the test quest here. And so at the very start, I'm going to call this method. And I'm going to use a test quest and show you what the pop-up is going to look like. So I'm just going to select my Kill the Slime quest, and that should all be set up. I'm going to hit start, and it's going to pop up, and we see here that we have our Kill the Slimes as the quest name, and then we have the rewards right here, and then I can't click claim yet, but I'll show you how to do that after we implement this all into our quest. Alright, so let's go to our dialog manager here. And so our dialog manager is going to need to know if we have a completed quest waiting for us, and if we need to use the reward manager in order to show the reward pop-up. And so the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to the bottom here, we're going to create a public quest base, and we'll call this completed quest, and we're going to do a get and a set, because we don't want to set this in the inspector panel. We're going to want to set this when we complete the quest. So over in our quest base, when we complete the quest, we're going to go over to our dialog manager, and we're going to get that little completed quest, and it's going to equal this quest. There's a bit of an issue here because we have a completed quest, but what if I talk to someone who is not the quest giver? The completed quest is going to go off, right? Well, so in order to counteract that, we need to have a second little boolean here to check if this is the NPC that we want to talk to, which has the completed quest. So we'll just say completed quest ready, and we'll do the same thing with the get and set, and we're going to set this in the dialog trigger here. So when we talk to the person, so this is where we know that the person that we're talking to is the correct person with the completed quest. And so when we start the dialog, we can go to the dialog manager and go to the completed quest ready, and we'll say true. The completed quest is indeed ready. And so now that we have the completed quest ready, we can go over to back to our dialog manager, and whenever we close the dialog, so let's go see where we end the dialog here. We'll create a new method and just say set item reward, and we're going to call this here, and we'll just say if the quest ready, completed quest ready, if this is true, then we'll fire off the reward manager. But we need access to the reward manager, and we'll simply go over to our game manager, and we'll create a public reward manager, and now you could create a singleton out of the reward manager, but because we're only using it in one spot, I feel like it's a little bit overkill. So let's go back to our dialog manager, and we can access the reward manager through our game manager now. So instance.reward manager, and we'll do the set reward UI, and then we'll pass in the quest, the what's it called, the completed quest here. And so now what's going to happen is we're going to get to the end, and it's going to check if this is a completed quest, and it's going to see that it is a completed quest, and then we're going to call the reward manager and set the completed quest. But the very last thing we need to do is we need to undo all of the other stuff. So basically, well, we can just say completed quest ready is equal to false because we don't want to call it anymore. So we're just going to turn that off. So very quickly, let's go over to our game manager. And let us turn off, or let us set the reward manager over in our game manager, and we can just simply click on the little circle and select itself, and that was all set now. So let's go and test this out. Alright, so we're going to test this out, and we're going to just go look at our quest real quick. So let's look at our quest, and basically we're going to go over and kill, let's look at our objectives. We need to kill 2 slimes here, and then when we kill these 2 slimes, we have to turn it into an NPC called Ashley. And then we need, and then the completed quest dialog, the slime complete quest dialog will activate. And at the very end of that quest dialog, we will receive the item rewards of the Chest of Harmony and the Chest of Healing. While we won't receive them yet, we'll be able to see them. So we still have one more part to do, which is the actual claiming of the items, but that should be easy enough. Let's just see how it works out right now. So we go over to this NPC and we talk to them, and says, what's a little small, so let's make it a little bigger. Hey Link, I need you to do something for me. Yeah, what is it? The slimes are taking over the town. It says kills 8 slimes, but it's actually 2. We just didn't change the text. And so we just go over and kill these slimes here. There's 1, and then there's 2 here, and then this is the NPC Ashley, and the game knows that it's Ashley because of the target NPC here. It says Ashley, and so the game knows this is Ashley. And so when we talk to her, she says thank you for killing the slimes, and then when we press Z again, the item rewards will pop up, and the final thing to do is we're going to press claim here, then the pop-up is going to go away, and then we're going to receive the items, and that will be that for this tutorial. So let's see how we do that. So the first thing we need to do is focus on the button. So whenever we open up a new UI and there's a button we need to press, we have to focus on it first. And so in order to do that, we can just go to our reward, our reward manager, and we're going to go and create a button and call this claim button. And when we open the UI, we're simply going to do claim button dot select, and all this will do is because we're using our keyboard, not using our mouse, it's going to select it. So if we press Z, it's automatically going to claim the rewards. If you don't do this, then it's not going to focus on it, and then so you can't actually claim it. So we're going to do this first. And now we can go over to our actual button itself. So let's go over to our button. It's going to be in our canvas, our pop-up holder, and then we're going to look at our button. And this is the claim button, and we're going to be adding a new event here, and then we're going to put in the logic right here. So first we need to create the logic. And we're going to go over to our reward manager and put in the logic here. So because we already have access to a lot of the information that we need, we're going to put the logic with the button in this script. So the first thing we need to do with the button is we make this void claim, and the first thing we need to do is close the UI. So we're going to do a lot of the opposite of what we do here. So we can just say, we can just copy paste this, and instead of active, we're going to turn it off. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to set all of the icons. So all the icons, or the game object icons that were there, we need to turn them off, because if we don't turn them off, the next time that we open it, some of the old rewards could still be there. So we can copy paste this too, and we can simply, instead of saying quest rewards, we're going to be using the quest rewards icon, the length or the amount that they're in there. So we just delete all that and say quest reward icons dot length, and we're not going to need this anymore, and that will do just fine. So this will turn off all of the game objects inside of the quest reward icons. And the very final thing we need to do is we need to actually give the player their rewards. So the thing is that we can't pass through a quest here because it's going to be called inside of this button here, and it's not going to, there's no way for it to know what quest is being called, at least not through the parameter. And so what we can do is we can use the dialog manager, because that has access to the current quest being the current quest that we're going through. And so we can simply just say inventory. Well, first we need to loop through all the quest rewards, so we can actually just do that through this. We can copy paste this, and then we're just going to get rid of all this. And then we're going to say dialog manager. So instead of quests, we're going to say dialog manager. We can access the quest through the dialog manager, and then we can just access the completed quest. And then, well, it's actually kind of lengthy, so I'm just going to say, just like cut this down a little bit. We're going to say quest base, and we'll call this current quest is equal to, and then I'm going to copy paste this right here. So I'm just going to, it's a shorthand because we're going to be using this a lot, and then we're going to replace all that with this. So it's a little bit neater. And then we can just do inventory, inventory manager dot instance dot add item, and we're going to add the current quest dot rewards dot item rewards, and then I. And so this will go through all of the quest rewards, and then it's going to give us all the items that we need. And we're going to put these parts last. So let's just copy paste that, put it down here, because we don't want to turn this off before we delete that. Before we actually give our rewards, we're going to need to give our players the rewards first, and then we can turn off all the stuff. So that should be it for that. The last part is we need to go over to our button, and we're going to drag in the managers, because the manager is where our reward manager is. So let's go back to our button here, button, and we'll just call this we'll call this claim button, because button is kind of ambiguous. And then we can simply go over to our reward manager and then call the claim method, and then we can just turn this all off. Alright, so the last thing we need to do is go over to our managers and go over to our reward manager and actually set the claim button. So let's go over to our claim button here, and let's drag the claim button into the empty slot here. And so now when we open it, it'll focus the claim button. And so let's play, and let's talk to this NPC here, and then she says, she gives us a quest, and then updated it to say 2 slimes. So could you kill 2 slimes for me? Yeah, sure, we can do that. And just to show you that this works, when we talk to Ashley, she says, hey, have you killed those slimes yet? So she says that because we haven't killed the slimes yet. But once we do kill the slimes here, she will say something different. She will say, thank you for killing those slimes. And then we have the rewards here, and then I can press Z to claim it. Although it makes me talk to her, so we can fix that later. But I can open my inventory, and we see that we have these 2 item rewards. from the quest. So now, that's great. We have our rewards. So last thing we need to do is, obviously, there was a little bit of a bug where it makes it talk to her again. Let's see how we can fix that real quick. Alright, so I'm in my reward manager, and we need to make it so that when we close the reward pop-up, we don't accidentally talk to the NPC again. And so the way we're going to do that is we're just going to create a little public boolean here. We'll just call this in quest reward. We'll just do a get and set. And so we're going to go over to our dialog manager, and we're going to say, hey, if we're in the quest reward over here, we'll say, hey, if we're in the quest reward, and if we need to access the quest reward manager through the game manager, and we'll just say, if in quest reward, we'll also return. And so we need to go back to our reward manager, and we need to say, hey, we are in a quest reward, so we need true. And then we need to turn this off, but we don't want to turn it off immediately, or else we're going to run into the same problem. We're going to need to turn it off like maybe not half a second, but maybe like a tenth of a second after we close the reward UI. And so we can do that through a coroutine. And so say IEnumerator close, or just say quest reward buffer, because it's just all it is a little bit of buffer. And we'll say yield return wait for new, or wait for seconds, return yield return new, yield return new, wait for seconds. There we go. And we need to do like 0.1 seconds, and we're going to turn off the in quest rewards. So we say false, and then the last thing we do is start coroutine, and we're going to call the quest reward buffer here. And so with that, let's go over to our game, and I lowered the health of the wolves by 30, so now they only have 20 HP. Oh, I forgot to actually start the quest. Oops. So let's go over, start the quest first, because it's not going to track it unless we start the quest. So I accepted the quest, I have the quest now. We're going to kill these slimes, we're going to talk to this woman, and then we're going to hit claim, and it no longer will talk to her anymore. It's because of that buffer. And so that's all there is for this episode. Next episode I'll probably tackle maybe the health of the character, and so that we can actually, and health and experience, so they can actually get experience and level up. But that's gonna be it for this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. I'd like to thank my Patreons Van Helen, Seymour, Mars, Black Fox, Pale Blue Dot, Emerson, and Polybius. Thanks for being my Patreon. If you want to become one of my Patreons, you can go to patreon.com/devbird. Obviously, you don't have to, but every little bit helps. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.